From Snapchat giving games a shot to Microsoft dealing with a bit of bad lighting, we have the latest headlines from across the game industry, so let's load them up and dive right in. Kartridge, an upcoming digital storefront from Kongregate, has a compelling offer for interested parties. Any software sold through their platform will grant developers 100% of its revenue up to $10,000. This deal started out as a short-term promotional strategy to bolster early adoption, but thanks to what could have only been predicted to be a positive reception, the team has decided to make it a permanent staple of their storefront going forward. In addition, they're proposing an exclusivity deal that offers the same 100% for 10,000 sales, but also 90% for the following 40,000. This deal has a deadline, however. It's only on the table for titles launching on the platform before October 31st of this year, and will inevitably drop back down to the status quo of 70% for developers once that 10,000 milestone is passed. It's also worth noting that this exclusivity deal can be terminated by the developers at any time, so the option to go back if business isn't booming is always available. Whether or not you take advantage of them, these arrangements seem like a great opportunity for developers, and a good way for Kartridge to increase the odds of a healthy marketplace at launch. For developers looking to diversify their offerings and get in on that lucrative streaming craze, the monetization system Twitch has in beta might be worth investigating. For those unfamiliar, viewers on the platform can use a virtual currency called bits to support streamers. And now by building bits-enabled extensions, developers can claim a slice of that pie for themselves. To secure a strong position and showcase what can be done with their new system, Twitch debuted the beta with 28 extensions produced by 28 developers. The current offerings range from a trivia game by Sliver TV with initial support for Overwatch, Fortnite, and other big-name titles, to a competitive arcade experience by Doborog Games. With a respectable pool of inspiration to reference, there's no better time than now to dabble in development and gauge whether or not an extension for your game, or other titles, could be a good revenue source to invest in. Branching out beyond pictures and videos, Snapchat is launching its own series of AR minigames called Snappables for users to play on its platform, and intends to release new titles on a weekly basis to keep the offerings fresh. Snappables will feature multiplayer experiences and high-score affairs that can be played through touch, motion, and facial expressions. As for the games themselves, players will be tasked with fighting aliens, starting a rock band, playing basketball, basically everything you've ever wanted to do with your face. So if you'd like to encourage strangers to judge you even more when you're out in public, or want to look extra engaged at your next boardroom meeting, Snapchat has you covered. Later this year, Nintendo will be under new management. Acting President Tatsumi Kimishima will be retiring from the role on the 28th of June, passing the reins to Shuntou Furukawa, a gentleman who served as Managing Executive Officer, Supervisor of Corporate Analysis and Administration Division, and Director, who's been with the company since 1994. The shift in management should come as no surprise, as Kimishima's position was always intended to be temporary following the untimely passing of former President Satoru Iwata. With a couple decades of experience within the company, Furukawa seems like a solid choice to succeed them. And with Kimishima remaining in an advisory role that'll no doubt ease the transition, it seems safe to say the company should be in good shape moving forward. They aren't charging ahead without a few scuffs, however. It's been publicly disclosed by hackers this week that there's a vulnerability in the NVIDIA Tegra 1X chip used in Nintendo Switch consoles. Fortunately, there isn't that much that can be done with the exploit right now, and it'll take a while before homebrew applications are running natively on the system's OS. But the software access hackers now have can pave the way for a lot of cheating in the online space and even piracy efforts down the road. Digital Foundry's Richard Leadbetter says Nintendo's in a tough position. Any fixes they attempt on the OS level won't hold for long, since the exploit grants hackers low-level access to circumvent them, ultimately rendering them as nothing more than band-aids on a gaping wound. With the runaway success of the Switch, Nintendo has its work cut out for them trying to stave off the threat of piracy on their platform. But hopefully the cumbersome process of setting it up helps prevent it from gaining any mainstream appeal. The Norwegian Consumer Council has filed an official complaint against some of the industry's biggest players over in Norway the other day, claiming that Sony, EA, Valve, and Nintendo are violating European consumer protection laws. In particular, they cited that Steam, Origin, and the PlayStation Store failed to acquire express consent and acknowledgement from consumers about their withdrawal rights being revoked, while Nintendo doesn't allow consumers to cancel pre-orders from the eShop prior to the product's launch date. While no legal action has been taken at this stage, it'll be down to the Norwegian Consumer Authority's discretion as to how these two issues are handled. Providing the same 14-day grace period for returning digital games leads to complications other mediums and products don't have, like shorter titles being completed and returned before the timer's up, so it'll be interesting to see how these concerns are addressed. While Microsoft might not be gracing the headlines over in Norway, it looks like they might be under fire for patent infringement on a grander scale. Terminal Reality and Infernal Technologies are claiming the company is using the same lighting and shadowing methods as their Infernal engine, and note that Microsoft would have had an intimate understanding of the patents as early as 2005. Unfortunately for the industry juggernaut, this statement is supported by their attempts to file a similar patent in 2007 that was rejected due to the existence of the two patents in question. If there's indeed an infringement, those illegal lighting techniques were applied to some big budget titles like Halo 5, Sea of Thieves, and the Forza series, and build a strong case for some serious damages. EA had a similar problem with these patents back when they were hit in 2015, which ultimately ended 2 years later when they entered a formal settlement agreement. However the proceedings unfold from here, I'm sure Microsoft is really feeling the heat. With the production of the Eldorado team's project, 343 Industries has laid down the law when it comes to the modding community attempting to bring back the Russian-exclusive PC title Halo Online, a collaboration with Saber Interactive that had been put on indefinite hold. On their website, 343 Industries stated, "There's a common misconception that once it was cancelled, the assets were turned over as open source or left to the community's whims as abandonware, neither of which is actually true. Not only did Microsoft issue takedown notices at the time of the original leaks, many elements of the underlying code and content are still actively being used today and will continue to be in the future." They issued a statement soon after the announcement to clarify that not only is the game itself discouraged from being played and distributed, but any videos or streams of the subject matter also fall under the company's policy and could result in bans in their MCC Insider program and other Xbox user research initiatives. So if you want to help Microsoft, don't help yourself to this unofficial release. And that covers this week's lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Was there anything you found particularly insightful? Did we miss something you think should have been covered? Let us know in the comments below and be sure to tune in next time for another newsworthy breakdown.